Good evening. I get to do the honors of moderating this question and answer period. So if I could, I'll ask Lee and Gary to come on up. And while they're coming, I'll tell you how this is going to work. We're going to give each of them 5 minutes to make an opening statement. And then Gary will start with that based on the alphabet. They will each have 2 minutes to answer the questions that you're writing now, I hope. And we will let this run for about 20 minutes and see how that goes. Questions will be written and collected, and then I'll ask them as they're passed to me by Scott. Okay, with that, gentlemen, are you ready? Having been sitting in those seats just a couple of years ago, I don't envy you. Gary, would you like to start?
Thank you, Jim, and good evening, everyone. And thank you for coming tonight to this special occasion. And I have to start off by telling you a little bit of a short story that will help you tonight to evaluate my candidacy. And it goes something like this. A few years ago, I was a professor teaching electrical engineering at Marquette University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I couldn't get the students to believe that my last name was blank. They thought I was just playing games. And I said, my name is Dr. Blank. They said, no, really, what is your name? And I said, it really is Dr. Blank. It took them a long time, and I said, I'll tell you what, I'll help you to remember my name, because many years from now, when we meet again, you'll remember my name, won't you? Well, we fast forward about 25 years, and I was at a conference like this one. A gentleman came to me and says, I know you. I had you as a professor many years ago. Don't tell me your name, let me guess. He put his hand up to his forehead like this, and he says, I'm thinking, I know who you are. You're Dr. Nothing. So there and then I knew I had found a way to have people to remember my name. And I'm only answering blank questions tonight, so anything that's blank on your table, I'll handle those questions. I have to compliment you on your attendance here also, because I know that in past years trying to get to this meeting and even to come to this one, we have so much of a challenge with the way the economy is and the work situation is. And I have to compliment you. Look out here and see so many smiling faces, and that is a good indication. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time going through my qualifications, because a lot of it you can find on the trifold brochure that you probably found on your chair when you came in tonight. So you can go through that at your own leisure and learn a little bit more about the candidate. But I do want to quickly mention this, that in general, I feel the reason I'm running here tonight is because I've served under 10 previous presidents. And one of them said to me a few months ago, he says, Gary, it's your time. And I thought, I wonder what he meant by that. And then he further clarified, he says, I think it's time that you make the move and consider yourself to be a candidate for president of IEEE-USA. I have a very broad background. I've worked in industry for many years as an ordinary, hard-working engineer. I've taught at several universities as a professor of electrical engineering. I enjoy that very much. And I've done a lot of work consulting. I have over 40 corporate clients, different corporations I've done consulting work for, and they're still actively using my services, and they keep me very busy, and I enjoy doing that. So where do you find time to do other things? Well, you know, this organization has done so much for me in my career that I know, without being facetious, I can never repay them, because there's just so much that they've done for me. I can try in my way to pay them back by being of service. The time I've spent working within IEEE has been very worthwhile to me and to my family, and it has me focusing on the things that are dearest and nearest to my heart. I ask myself, what do people really, really want out of IEEE? What can we do to help? I come up with very short answers and to the point. They want to work. They want to have employment. They want to start a business. They want to be a consultant. They worry about the future of our profession, where the future engineer is going to come from. And then many people start thinking, you know, it's time I get my PE license. So with those things in mind, I move forward saying, I'd like to help you if you want to be a consultant. I've done it, and I've encouraged consultants to get involved in our business. I work with entrepreneurs, and they also are enjoying what they're doing. I work with the Employment Committee, which is one of my committees. They're doing a fantastic job. And so I was really moved to goosebumps when I thought, I have the opportunity now to serve this organization in a little different capacity, a capacity in which I can do things and magnify the work I can do, much more so than I can do currently as a vice president, which I enjoy doing, but I know I can do so much more. And so I look forward to being of service to this organization, and if you have the time, I invite you to come to my session on Saturday afternoon, right here in this room at 3:10 p.m. I'll tell you how we do it with consultants, how we do it with entrepreneurs, how we do it with employment, what we're doing for K through 12 literacy, and also what we're doing for PE licensing. I'm pretty excited about it. I think you will be too. So I'll see you at 3:10 p.m. right here, Saturday afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Lee, you ready?
Thank you, Jim. Gary? My name is Lee Stogner. I've got 38 years with the IEEE, never regretted a second of it because through the years of duty I've spent with the IEEE, I've met fellow members at my Piedmont section back in Greenville, South Carolina. I've met working people from all over the world through IEEE. I've met Nobel Prize winners that all have one thing in common. They have a joy to commit their time and their energy to their profession and to build careers for not only themselves, but their fellow engineers. In the 38 years I've served the IEEE, I've gone through about every position you can go to from the section and the chapter level up. Section chair, membership chair, PACE chair. I've been VP of Professional Activities at IEEE-USA, and I've been Region 3 Director. And I just finished serving 2010, 2011 in that capacity, and it gave me a great chance to experience the IEEE Board of Directors. Along the way, I've been honored by my peers with several awards, including the Citation of Honor. But let's look to the future. The future right now is we have an incredible base of people, experience, knowledge, and recognition here in IEEE-USA. We've helped to put people on the moon. We've built automated factories, the envy of the world, and we're still the technological leader of the world. And I'd like to work with this team to help organize, perhaps inspire you, but otherwise give you focus such that in the years ahead, we can continue to achieve the things that we have in the past and we can in the future. But I've also got to ask for your help. Right now, the IEEE-USA has been losing members slowly in recent years. It puts what we do at risk. And I need you to go back to your sections all over regions 1 through 6 and work with your fellow members to ask the members who have not renewed to come back to the IEEE. If they have questions about why they did not renew this year, I can help you answer those. But we need a base of people, membership in IEEE-USA to remain strong, and we need growth for the future to do the things we need to do not only for ourselves and our fellow members, but also the things we do for society. If you look at the IEEE-USA website, you'll see all the groups that we're involved in outside of IEEE-USA. And we're the leader when it comes to encouraging kids to think about careers in engineering. In fact, it inspired me to go back to my home state and create something called the South Carolina Engineering Cluster, which brings together engineers of all disciplines in my home state in order to focus on important things. 2 things in particular. Number 1, we have built the model for an engineering curriculum that starts at age 5. Yes, I said age 5. In Greenville, South Carolina, we have built a school that's 2 years old now, in which kids from a diverse base of students can start learning engineering fundamentals at age 5. They graduate in the 5th grade, then go on to an engineering middle school that's being built right now. And then finally, we have an engineering high school that's already built. They're improving and maturing the curriculum such that within a couple of years, we'll have examples for the whole state to look at where kids can go from age 5 up through engineering university and become leaders in the industry. So my challenge to the rest of you is we're going to call ourselves an engineering state. What will you call your state? So for the future, again, my theme is we need to work together. And like the sign says, I have 1 minute, and in 1 minute I want to ask you that if you look around, you see fellow members just like you. They've had careers, they've got careers, they've still got careers ahead of them. And together we can look out for each other and make sure we reinforce the efforts of each other such that we can create a profession that will last for many decades into the future and inspire the world and also provide a foundation for the economy of IEEE. And with that, I want to close by saying I need your vote. I need your support. We've got to work on membership growth. We've got to work on educating our fellow members. And we've got to keep IEEE-USA strong. Thank you.
All right.
Very good. He says we're supposed to answer the questions from here on this microphone. Yes.
Who took it down? Someone took it down. Oh, okay. All right, gentlemen, are you ready? You may have some difficult questions here from the audience. Since both of you have served extensively in IEEE-USA volunteer roles, what does the average member not understand about IEEE-USA and its operations you think they should? And we'll start with Lee.
That's actually an easy question, but also a question that makes me a bit sad. Most of our members across the country don't realize the great depth of resources we've built over the years in terms of education, training, other support infrastructure that can help you be the best in your group back at work, or inspire you and train you for a better job at the next company, or as Gary might say, become a consultant. So we have lots of things we can teach you, support you, and make sure you've got the career that you want.
Okay. Thank you. The question I hear quite often, and this is a question that was on my mind for many, many years, was what's the difference between IEEE and IEEE-USA? And as a starting point, IEEE-USA, of course, covers the 6 regions in the continental and the adjacent states, and regions 7, 8, 9, and 10 are overseas. So IEEE is a major organization, and we're here focusing on IEEE-USA primarily. And so the things we're doing are directed towards what would be appropriate for the members of this part of the IEEE world. And so we find ourselves asking them the questions about what can we do to help you with your career? What can we do to help you to make life more pleasant for you? And there are many, many answers. And so our job is to find things that would work in 2012 that will work to help our members do better on their work, in their businesses, in their education. And so we try to change gradually the image of IEEE-USA. It's not for the spectrum, it's not for the publications. Oh, they're good, don't get me wrong. But it's for the things we can add to that. We can help you to start a business of your own. We can help you to find a job. We can help you with so many career services. And so for that reason, I see IEEE-USA evolving into something that's a little bit different than the way it used to be in previous years. So that's my answer.
All right, thank you. Next question. I like this question a lot, so I want my board members to listen very closely. If you had to prioritize IEEE-USA's government relations, career, PACE, and professional awareness programs, which would be your highest priority and which would be the lowest priority? And we'll start with Gary.
Could you repeat the question, please?
I'd be happy to. You need me to, Gary?
Yeah, please do, yeah.
If you had to prioritize IEEE-USA's government relations, career, PACE, and professional awareness programs, which would be your highest priority and which would be the lowest priority?
Well, that's a good question. Do you have a derivation for that question? Not quite. It's a tough question. I'm not sure I'd like the idea of saying 1, 2, 3, even though that's basically what I'm supposed to say. They're also important that I would be hedging and saying that within 1 or 2 percentage points, it's almost a tie. Yeah, they're all very important, and I'm actually trying to find a way out of this. But really, I think careers is probably high in my priority. I would say if we can help them with molding their careers, I think we can be much more effective for our membership now than in the other 2 areas. So at the bottom line, I would say the vote would be 40, 30, 30.
This is a question that Gary and I can agree on. Careers come first. We've all gone through over 4 years of a long, deep recession in which we all know someone, if not multiple people, who are perhaps still unemployed. We've got to focus on jobs first and the tools and the mechanisms to make sure everyone who wants a long-term career has an opportunity, and if you look around the room, a network you can tap. And the least priority, and they're all important, Jim, will probably be professional awareness. We have to work on jobs first.
All right. This is an important question from the audience. You ready? If your members were beers, what type of beer would they be? Start with Lee.
American beer, of course.
Gary, anything you want to follow up on that?
He's got 2 minutes. Does he need 2 minutes to answer that? No, I'd have to say it has to be very flavorful, very exciting, and very pleasant in the eyes of the rest of the world. And they'll all look up and say, I got to have that beer of all, and I think I'd probably go for, after our famous Vice President, Howard Mickle, I'd say Michelob.
All right. Next question. If elected IEEE-USA President, what would be your first priority on taking office? Gary?
I think it's very important to have continuity. I think it's very important for the incoming president to be very close to the people who are leaving, to be sure we don't have a hiccup in the process. Because I've been in too many organizations, not necessarily IEEE, where all of a sudden you have a new board of directors, you have new members coming in, and what happened before is forgotten or misinterpreted. And so I would think the very first thing I would do would be to spend a lot of time with the outgoing president and past presidents to learn from them so we have continuity in the organization.
Again, Gary's right on. One of the things we're promising amongst ourselves is not to have any one-year plans. We have to have 2, 3, and hopefully 4-year plans such that it does take time to make things happen. We want to make sure we don't drop the ball between presidents and president-elects, and we make sure we get the job done. Put the members first and make sure that we've got the resources, the talent, and the time to put it together.
All right. Next question. Recent membership data indicates that more than half of the USA membership is over 50 years old. What will you do to lower the age median?
What was the last question
What
again?
would you do to lower the age median, the median age?
It's a strange question, but I'll take a hack at it. From my own perspective, I'm glad that engineers right now, as we heard earlier, that are 50 years of age and older have an advantage. But it's an advantage we need to share with the people behind us, because you can't be an engineer by yourself. You need to be part of a team. So I think my answer would be to build that team, that pipeline, to make sure that the opportunities are shared with other members of the IEEE, and of the profession to make sure that we're the ones that people go for electrotechnology answers, and we want to keep it that way.
Part of the reason that we're seeing, besides the obvious fact that people are getting older, I think is the fact that a lot of things that we are doing in IEEE and IEEE-USA are getting older too. And I think we need to take a fresh look at some things we're doing, not that they're bad, but because the times are changing. Some things we're doing today we were doing before the invention of cell phones. Some things we're doing today were invented 15, 20 years ago, which is ancient history. I think it's good to have tradition. It's good to follow up with things that have worked well in the past, and we need to do a certain amount of continuity with that. But at the same time, we need to take a fresh look at what we're doing. There's room for change. There's room for improvement. And I think what will happen is we'll find that the younger people, the people who are in the age group between 20 and 40, are the people that we're going to be turning to build this organization in the future. And so I would start to direct a lot of my activity and focus a lot on the people in gold and the women in engineering, and see if I could use them to help me to get the organization moving forward in the right direction. And I know I always have the life members to help me to be sure we're going in the right direction as well. So I think I'd like to focus a lot on trying to help some of the younger people to take over and run this organization.
All right, ready for the next one? IEEE membership costs too much and you get too little for what you pay. What will you do as IEEE-USA President and as a member of the IEEE Board of Directors to reduce the cost of membership and/or increase its value?
Well, the membership fees are something that we don't have much control over. It's not going to change very much in the near future. However, look on the other side of the coin, we have to give more value. We have to have people look up an IEEE membership not as costing X dollars a year, but on a career investment. And look at it more from the point of view that look at what IEEE can do for me in my profession, in my career, and in my employment, and try to not even equate this to dollars and cents. So I think I would see the fees remaining about the same where they are now, but I think I'd be in favor of providing new modern services, modern for the year 2012 and 2013, to appeal to our members, to make them not only want to stay in, but make some of those who are outside want to come in to join us.
I've been part of committees over the years that have been benchmarking other organizations, and the reality is our dues are actually quite low compared to other professional and scientific and engineering societies. But again, you get out of it what you put into it. The membership dues basically pay for the processing of the paperwork to account for you and make sure you're properly connected to the IEEE. Beyond that, the real expense to you is your time to participate in the IEEE and learn from the courses, the various online resources, the meetings, the workshops, the opportunities to practice outside of work, become better at what you are and what you do, and then take that back to work the next day, a better person because of it. So I've had to pay for my dues myself my entire professional life. My employer never has. And with those dues that came out of my pocket, I made sure I got back the return that I need to make myself better. And at the same time, keep improving the resources that other people then share within the IEEE.
All right. Would you consider creating a political activities committee? Our lobbying has little effect without campaign contributions. A good lawyer ought to be able to figure out how to do this without jeopardizing IEEE's tax status. And the question is, would you consider creating a PAC?
Well, that is a loaded question. You know, for decades that I've been in the IEEE, we've been taught to not be political, be those experts that the legislators can call upon to get answers when they start to make bills and other legislation that involve technology. So my experience thus far is to stay away from the politics, but to stay connected with the politicians and help them make the right choices when it comes to technology-based legislation.
Okay, I'm more in favor of taking a more aggressive role, not so much to go personally to lobby on Capitol Hill, but to work with the existing system. We have some very competent people working for us on staff who know their way around Capitol Hill, who can go up there and tell our story. And we work with our staff, and we want them to do what is in our best interest of our membership. So I don't see us just neglecting this, but right now we have an excellent situation where our staff does work with people on Capitol Hill, and they're doing a good job, and they're reflecting the feelings and the opinions of you and I. So I'd be in favor of not maybe creating anything new, but maybe emphasizing what we already have. We already have a good system in place. We just need to make it more visible and to work harder with the people involved.
We do need to say we have a 501 status that we have to be very careful with. To be too overtly political could cause us to lose that status and all the other things that we're doing out of our office in Washington and through the hands of all of you that help us on the Hill. It might feel good to say we're going to do this, but you've got to be more professional and watch the maintenance of that status.
Next question. Are membership associations relevant anymore? If yes, why? If no, why? Are membership associations relevant anymore?
Oh, absolutely. Look around you. The people at the table and across the room are the only people in this country who are going to look out for you. So you need to be part of an organization that thinks like you, has the same needs as you, and can support you as you go forth through a 40-year career. So be a part of the IEEE and perhaps find another organization that is similar depending on the industry you work in. For example, I represented the IEEE in Detroit last week at the SAE World Congress, in which I was telling SAE members that if you raise the hood of a car, a modern day car, you see more electronics than you see mechanical components. So I convinced a number of those to take my membership forms and consider being an IEEE member and an SAE member if you want to have a successful automotive engineer. And I think you can make that same argument for a variety of industries around the country.
I'm very much in favor of membership in organizations that are worthy of my time and effort and my money that I spend with them. And I think we need to take a long, hard look at what people try to offer us. And because of that, several organizations, and there are not very many of them, but they really aren't doing anything that would really help your career or my career. I look at it in a very almost selfish point of view and say, what can you do for me? I, in turn, will do something for you. But what can you do for me? And so I have to ask the question about any association, what can it do for me? And this is why I'm especially proud of this organization, because many years ago, my brother asked me, he says, what do you spend so much time with this thing called IEEE? I says, well, let me tell you, it's a long answer. Have you got the time? He says, sure I do. We sat down, I told him, and we spoke for about an hour and a half after that, and I just couldn't stop talking because I said, there's so much that I feel very strongly about in membership in any organization, and this by far is my favorite professional organization. And for that reason, I am very much in favor of membership association after you evaluate what they have to offer you and what you in turn can offer them.
All right. Next question. IEEE-USA does a very poor job at building our public image externally. What is your strategy to improve this?
Okay. It's my turn. I understand the question, and it makes, I really have a feel for what the person is trying to arrive at. I would change it a little bit and not say we're doing a poor job. I would say we probably aren't doing as good a job as we can. Because what we're doing right now, what little we do is good, but we need to do a lot more of that. I think we try our very best through staff, through our website, through literature, and through word of mouth to tell people what a wonderful organization we have. And as part of IEEE-USA, we've created new services. And this is especially dear to my heart because being the Vice President of Career and Member Services, I'm involved with all the career and member things, and I find them very nice. I'm part of almost every one of them myself. And I really think that we have to keep looking at offering more and better things for our members in the future. And so I would be inclined to say, let's go ahead and let's offer more and let the members that are here want to stay, but more important, let people from the outside want to join us.
I've been a student of the communications process for a long time. In fact, I enjoy getting the word out about an IEEE event or workshop or new resource. IEEE-USA actually does a pretty good job, but given sometimes limited staff and the changing world around us, you have to change your tools and your methods almost constantly in order to get the message out. Another thing that IEEE-USA could do is to help the sections within IEEE-USA make use of the channels and other contacts in the world of industry and PR that have been established in Washington, such that even a local section in my state or your state could sound and look as good as a big section from a big state. So I guess the answer is to make sure our tools are up to date and also shared across all regions 1 through 6.
Just time for a brief rebuttal. I just wanted to add, I was recently at a meeting in Madison, Wisconsin, and talking to a group, telling them what things IEEE-USA has to offer, and I actually got almost to the point of tears. I had goosebumps when 2 gentlemen came to me and they said, you know, we used to be in IEEE, we dropped out years ago, but if this is what you guys are doing now, we want back in. Can we give you a check? I said, no, you have to send it to Piscataway, New Jersey.
Okay, this is an extremely important question, and I think I know who it came from. Is your wife going to support you if you're elected?
Absolutely. You can see my wife's handiwork all through the 38 years that I've been an IEEE member. She's helped me with every event, every publication, every website. She is truly a partner and an asset to the IEEE. We couldn't do it without her.
I have the pleasure of being married to a woman who typed my master's thesis, who typed my PhD thesis, and who made all my PowerPoint presentations that I use as I travel around, and she has done more work than I have for my membership. She will support me.
Okay, next question. What is... As a personal note, you can't do it without them. What is the main reason of declining membership in regions 1 to 6, and how are you going to address the problem in your term?
The main reason is we have too many members that haven't taken the time to go beyond seeing the IEEE as simply a magazine called Spectrum. And also, we need to spend more time telling them. So if we can find that better way to educate incoming members and existing members that, hey, there's a lot of things you can do with that $200 a year membership that you can't do otherwise at that rate outside of the IEEE. So constant education of the value of benefits within the IEEE, and if people need to be told every year, so be it. You need to know, and each year the value does go up.
I'm especially pleased to have to answer that question because I think we're going through this period of metamorphosis right now where we're seeing some change coming around in our economy, in our workplace, and even the universities. Things are going through a lot of change right now because it's just natural. I'm especially proud of the fact that in recent months, as the Vice President, I've had to be involved with helping to start up dozens of consulting networks around the United States. We've started employment networks, which have been working extremely well. More for you to hear on Saturday afternoon when you come to my 310 session Saturday afternoon. We'll tell you exactly how they work. We've also started entrepreneurs networks, where people who want to get into entrepreneur business never had a chance before. But now we're providing that for them. We provide the training, we provide the education, we hold their hands, we help them. So many things that we have going for us now that make it very, very special. And so I'd like to answer the question by saying, yes, I think our past members who dropped out are important. I think I would certainly make an effort to go try to bring them back in. But I think I also want to go after new members, brand new people, people who look upon us with a lot of respect and say, you know, I like what you guys are doing. I like the things you're starting to put together. I like your programs. I want to be a part of IEEE-USA. That, to me, is the essence of what I would try to achieve. Thank you.
All right. Next question. What will you do if elected IEEE-USA President to improve employment opportunities for our members in the United States?
One of the things we're doing in Region 3 that we want to take nationwide is how to establish a local jobs board. A jobs board can be as simple as a shoebox and a stack of index cards where you jot down job opportunities that fellow members bring back from their company that they just learned about. Every time we come out of a recession, and I hope we are right now, most new jobs aren't advertised in the Sunday paper. And if you're trying to get your opportunity off of monster.com, you're competing with a zillion people. The jobs board is a localized effort to collect information from company A, B, C in the local backyard that you all work in and make sure that those opportunities are shared with fellow IEEE members first. So with that, you've got local knowledge and you've got a local person inside the company that can open the door for you and introduce you to the hiring manager. So bottom line, I'd like to take jobs boards nationwide. It doesn't require a giant budget, a lot of shoeboxes and index cards, and cooperation, little training, motivation, and you've got a mechanism to put a lot of us back to work.
On the subject of employment, about a year ago, one of my fellow section members said to me, Gary, what are you going to do about the fact that employment or lack of employment is a problem in our area? And I took this seriously because they just got done saying, gee, you're doing so well with the consultants. Why don't you think it's something to do with people who are the working class, like employees? And so with the help of my own section, we tried an experiment to create IEEE-USA's first ever employment network with a very interesting format. We bring the members together who are looking for work. We teach them what's available through our careers program. But then we did something that was a pure experiment, and sometimes experiments work. We found that at every meeting, we would invite, as a guest speaker, an HR manager from a nearby company. And when the first HR manager came and the people there saw what was happening, the person was there to tell us how to write our resume. This is the HR manager telling us, I want to see on your resume. I want to hear this in your elevator speech. I want you to say this in your interview. These are things I want you to see how you do your networking. So I had to learn all this training before the meeting was over. We began to see an association between the members and the HR manager, and 3-4 guys got jobs out of that. And we thought, if it worked for one HR manager, let's try it again. Second meeting, we invited a different HR manager. About 30 people showed up at the meeting, including 4 uninvited HR managers who came from other companies, and before you know it, most of those guys had jobs in the next few days. When that happens, I get all emotional again. I says, wow, we are blessed with having to hit one of the right things at the right time. That's the kind of thing I like to do tomorrow. I want to see more employment networks. If your section doesn't have an employment network, you ought to get one real quick. Come Saturday night, we'll tell you how to start one.
Okay, next question. Should IEEE-USA hand over the PACE activities to MGA and retain licensure, et cetera? Why or why not?
Oh, I would be strongly in favor of PACE staying within IEEE-USA because I think IEEE-USA is closer to understanding the needs of the members of IEEE-USA, much more so than IEEE would be. IEEE has a much broader range of membership to work with, and it's a big job, but I think I like the idea of focusing it on the USA members, and I think PACE should stay with IEEE-USA. We have a very fine people working. We have an excellent vice president. Jim, look, wherever you are, take a big bow. And I'm very proud of what we're doing. I want to see us continue it. Keep it right here.
I'm a former VP of PACE, and I spent over 20 years getting up to that position, helping to create the soft skills courses and other things that you can take a group of 20 people, put them in a room for a Saturday, and teach them how to write resumes, how to interview, how to stand up to tough questions, and then go back to work the next week or go to an interview the next week and do a lot better than otherwise. We've got ownership because we created these courses. If we simply hand them over to another organization, they're going to go on the shelf, and they will not be updated, they won't be utilized. Courses through PACE, through the Employment Network, all those things is what really created the foundation of IEEE-USA, and I think they should remain here in their home so we can improve them and we can use them and share them across the spectrum of members in regions 1 through 6.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up now. We're going to allow you each 2 minutes for closing statements. Lee, you'll go first.
The number one rule of sales is you need to ask for the business, and I want to ask you to vote for me. I think I've got a unique combination of hands-on skills that allow me to relate to members, companies, those voices on the Hill that the IEEE represents us in front of, and I want to make sure that while I'm in the position of president-elect and then president, that we maintain the focus on careers as well as promoting what we are to the rest of the world. If you look around you, there's nobody else but the IEEE and IEEE-USA that's looking out for you. I've known too many people that would go to IEEE members and then disappear, and you find out that, well, Joe lost his job and he thinks he needs to go focus on that and not come to IEEE members. And then we sit there and stare and say, what? He needs to be a part of a group that will empower him, support him. And on top of that, we all work somewhere and we can be doors to the next step in his career. So I want to ask you for your support. We have some things to work on right off the bat, including membership development, and together we can make the IEEE-USA even stronger.
I think, as one of the past presidents who came up to me said, Gary, your time has come. And I felt very emotional about that, and I think my time has come. It's my turn to lead this organization. I have the experience, I have the background, I have the breadth and the depth to do it. I'm the kind of person who likes to work in new areas. I'm willing to try new things, not to get rid of old things necessarily, but if you come to me with innovations and ideas, I'd love to listen. I'd love to give it a try. I don't mind failing, but I'll try again. And so I really like to ask for your support to help me and especially help IEEE-USA as we move forward in the coming years. And I'd like to close by just giving you a few instructions when voting day comes, which is August 15th. When you go to vote, remember the 3 rules of voting. Number 1, if you see a blank on the ballot, vote for the blank. Number 2, if you don't remember who to vote for and your mind goes blank, vote for the blank. And the third and last rule is, if you look at the ballot and you see a name like Dr. Nothing, vote for the blank.
And your website is?
And the website is blank.
And my website is leestogner.com. Keep checking it. We'll give you a chance to learn more about me. leestogner.com.
My website, in reality, is on the back page of the trifold you picked up tonight.
I think all of you would agree we have two very good candidates.